Extraterrestrial beings have interacted with humanity from the beginning of time. Is there more to UFOs and UAPs than meets the eye? Could these aircraft be the craftsmanship of the demonic? Are aliens demonic? Military pilots report objects moving in ways that defy physics, making sharp turns at impossible speeds, demonstrating capabilities far beyond human technology.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at that, man. Look at it fly. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
These UAPs don't just violate the laws of physics. They operate entirely outside them, exactly as we would expect from supernatural beings. The beings themselves, appearing as aliens, demonstrate abilities that seem technological but defy physical laws. They can materialize and dematerialize at will, pass through solid objects, and affect human consciousness. Abilities historically attributed not to extraterrestrials, but to spiritual entities.
Rush, and he had testified to say that some of these were interdimensional beings. Can you speak on that at all?
Ma'am, I'm not qualified, certainly as a scientist or otherwise, to speculate points of origin. I looked at everything from a scientific perspective. So if you look at, for example, instantaneous acceleration, which was one of the observables of the program that I belong to, ATIP, the human body can withstand about 9 G-forces for a short period of time before you suffer negative biological consequences, blackouts and ultimately redouts and even death. Comparison, our best technology, the F-16, which is one of this older platform, but one of our most highly maneuverable aircraft, manned aircraft, made by General Dynamics, can perform about 17 or 18 G-forces before you start having structural failure, meaning that the airframe begins to disintegrate while you're flying. The vehicles we're talking about are performing in excess of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Gs.
Could it be that the increase in UFO activity isn't leading to an alien invasion? It's building toward the great deception prophesied in Scripture. The truth is both simpler and more profound than extraterrestrial visitors. We're witnessing the ancient battle between good and evil, playing out in our skies and in our times. Long before humanity gazed at the stars through telescopes, Scripture spoke of beings that transcend our physical realm. Ancient texts tell of creatures with powers far beyond human comprehension, angels who could appear and disappear at will, travel between dimensions, and manifest in various forms. These weren't mere fairy tales, but warnings and revelations about the spiritual reality surrounding us.
Okay, so the template that you're using to understand this is like science fiction, right? These are an advanced race of beings from somewhere else. But the template that every other society before us has used is a spiritual one. Mm-hmm. There is a whole world that we can't see that acts on people, a supernatural world that's acting on us all the time for good and bad. Once you discard your very, very recent assumptions, relatively speaking, about how the world works, you're like, well, that kind of seems like the obvious explanation, right?
The evidence of life outside of Earth's atmosphere seems undeniable.
As a Christian, my worldview does tolerate that possibility. I mean, God created another realm, independent of the universe, for the angels.
The question is, who do these beings serve? A disturbing pattern emerges when examining close encounters.
What we notice in these close encounters, in no case is it beneficial for the human contactee. It's always deleterious. The best you're going to come away with from a close encounter is recurring, terrifying nightmares.
At one point, you had said that there has been harmful activity or aggressive activity. Has any of the activity been aggressive, been hostile in your reports?
I know of multiple colleagues of mine that got physically injured, and the activity. And I got
by UAPs or by people within the federal government?
Both.
Okay, so there has been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing.
In the Bible, the book of Job pulls back the curtain on a cosmic drama that began before Earth was formed. When God laid the foundations of our world, the sons of God, the Ben Elohim, shouted for joy. These weren't human beings, they were beings of tremendous power and intelligence who existed long before Adam drew his first breath. But something profound happened in those early days. Scripture hints at a great rebellion, a cosmic war that shattered not just the harmony of heaven, but possibly entire worlds. Hidden in the ancient Hebrew texts are references to Rahab, not the woman of Jericho, but a celestial body that was broken into pieces. Today we see its remnants in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, a silent testimony to that ancient conflict. This cosmic war didn't end with shattered planets. The rebellious ones, led by one the Bible calls the dragon, continued their insurrection against heaven. But unable to defeat God directly, they turned their attention to his newest creation, humanity. The Garden of Eden wasn't just about a serpent and forbidden fruit. It was the opening move in a strategy of deception that continues to this day.
We're dealing with non-physical reality.
It is clear these beings and their aircraft are otherworldly. They show no signs of heat friction. They make maneuvers that would shatter any physical craft. But the evidence suggests we're not dealing with physical vessels at all, but manifestations of non-physical beings. Entities the Bible has warned about for thousands of years. These may not be visitors from other worlds, but ancient enemies masquerading as something our modern minds might more readily accept. Just as Satan appeared as a serpent in Eden, these fallen beings now appear in forms fitting our technological age, as advanced aliens with superior knowledge and technology. Their goal remains unchanged, to deceive humanity and draw worship away from the one true God. Throughout history, fallen beings have appeared to humanity in various guises. In ancient times, they posed as gods, demanding worship and sacrifice. The Book of Enoch tells how they shared forbidden knowledge with humans, teaching them arts that God had reserved for later times. Today, many believe these same entities appear as highly evolved aliens, offering humanity advanced technology and spiritual enlightenment. Their message hasn't changed, only their appearance has. They still whisper the same lie first spoken in Eden: you will be like God. Now it comes packaged in the language of cosmic evolution and ascended consciousness. Scripture recounts the story of the sons of God, the Ben Elohim who shouted for joy when the foundations of the earth were laid. Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Genesis 6 tells of the sons of God who took the sons of men as their wives. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. It is thought the sons of God, fallen angels, in a plight to usurp the authority of man on earth, given to him by God, through the creation of hybrid beings, half man, half fallen angel. The phrase sons of God is also mentioned in Genesis scripture, recounts the story of the sons of God. The Ben Elohim who shouted for joy when the foundations of the earth were laid. Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Genesis 6 also mentions sons of God who took the sons of men as their wives. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. It is thought the sons of God, fallen angels, in a plight to usurp the authority of man on earth, given to him by God through the creation of hybrid beings, half man, half fallen angel. During this time, the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. Because of this, he sent a flood to cover the earth, to wash away the wickedness and chaos that threatened creation. Only Noah and those on the ark were saved. And interestingly, eschatological prophecy points us back to those days. For just like the days of Noah were, so the coming of the Son of Man will be. For in those days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing until the flood came and took them all away. It will be the same at the coming of the Son of Man. So what then can we conclude? Are these alien beings participating in a demonic plot to usurp the authority of man on the earth? Are these beings a marker of the end of days when the Son of Man returns? Whatever their origin or purpose, the same conclusion remains. Every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father. Whether we face a plot from the enemy of our souls or are feeling the pangs of the end of the age, we can find our safety in the shadow of his wings. The Lord our God has revealed himself as our rock, our fortress, our deliverer. When we draw near to him, he draws near to us. Draw near to him today. Come to him with your questions and curiosities. Regardless of what is happening in our world or galaxy, God is on the move, and he has a plan that leads to victory.